You know what? No, I'm freaking pissed, man. I'm not. I just accidentally I recorded the whole other one with no freaking audio. This is on, right? This is on, right? I just didn't even freaking get the green lights on, so I know it records. No, but let me tell you, that was 40 minutes of another one. So we're gonna do probably the same, or maybe even less, because I go through it better now. Okay, so we'll see if I remember everything. We'll see. So, I haven't been here for a while, taxes as well as national competitions. So I've been kind of worrying about that, worrying about my business rather than putting out some videos, my brother. So now we back. We back in some sort of fashion. I was going to go record a second one, but then I figured out there's no freaking sound to my other one. Good golly, Miss Molly. All right. I was going through the national recap. Had a pretty good time up there in New York. Had a girl just popped off a 12-foot jump out of nowhere, whom has been having a crappy time at practice. So I was like, that is awesome. But this is a problem because we show up cool at big meets. Awesome. Great problem to have. But you're unable to practice and at least figure out all this stuff prior to going then to the meets and all, or at least make it better or whatever. So at least what I saw was that the quickness of movement or the lack of hesitancy was significantly higher when it came to having a bar to actually clear. She was quick to get up the pole. She wasn't waiting on anything. So now that's kind of been as using it as a learning tool rather than just accepting it. Oh, she did great. Cool. Not care about it. No, this is a problem because you're able to do all that at a meet, but really we haven't been able to practice anything because of that. It's just losing this flow of things. But nonetheless, I think that was a good thing to figure out. She jumped 12 and a half. Cool. Good job, Caroline. Whatever. But now we on to the next one. Boston, we had Brunel and Roth up there, and all the other girls from New York did pretty well. Nothing too crazy on their ends. But when we went up to New York, the girl I had there, Brunel, she had wonderful warm-ups. I'm like, oh, snap. It's the day. It's the day where we're going to rip a huge jump at a national meet, and we're going to just ball out. So we get to regular jump, bars go up, and everything goes right out the window. So here's the thing. It's a mentality piece. You qualified for nationals and even the New Balance stuff with the big dogs. You have earned your right to be there. There's a reason why that qualifying height was as high as it is. Yes, you are not a 14-footer, but you made your way there. You have every opportunity to do as well and shoot. She did that 12-3 jump, and it was a little sloppy. Could be even prettier. You never know when you could be the person to pop out and win these things. Yeah, there are girls who are jumping 14 feet there. Maybe we're not going to get there, but you earned your spot. Why? I understand it's your first one and whatnot, but why get so... There's the overwhelming side of all the new place and new competition and everything, but you earned your spot. You are meant to be there. This is nothing, there's nothing wrong with this. Let your jump just be your jump. Allow yourself to stay calm. I feel like it was more just allowing it to overwhelm her that really did her in there. But then we get to Rafa. Rafa goes and jumps his 14.11, and then 14.6 comes up. 15.5. 15.5, and like change. He pops it off with his chest. Here's the thing with the top end. This clearance idea of pushing the chest out is not necessarily going to be what you really want. If I can continue to push down, actually hunch out my shoulders, and then in the release, at least if I release the pole to the side or whatever, then it can fall that a ways. But as I release that, I should be in a very hunched over position and then rolling out of that. There's some beautiful pictures when I had a 104 fever, but still chose to jump because it was regionals, and I kind of had to in order to make it to states. Funny, silly Maryland rules. A lot of other states, you just qualify with a height and then you go to states. But unfortunately, we have to jump a height at regionals. And even if it's a joke competition, the kids below you are not necessarily jumping as high as you or not necessarily worthy of a state trip. This is the unfortunate thing here in Maryland. The way you have things set up could be a little bit better and give more opportunities for those who are better. But we unfortunately will waste time with lesser jumpers at our state meets, which I think we definitely need to do away with, because also that kid who won his region, like 7 feet, will still make it into states. Taking away a spot from who knows, an 11-footer. I mean, that'd still be better than having that one there. So I'm going to be here my whole life. Somebody said to me, oh, well, then the rules will have to change. A dog, if I'm going to be here my whole life, then we're going to make change. That's also a whole nother thing. But nonetheless, I had to jump this height at regionals. And I didn't need to jump the height that I went to. I went all the way to trying for 1410 or something there on a 104 fever day. It was crazy. I had homecoming, or I had prom in like 2 days. Should have just rested. Should have cleared the height and stopped. But I was dumb enough to keep on going. Even got peeled off a pole, the 1470s. Gotta love them. But, yeah, so I get peeled off the next poles and whatever. Where was I even going with that? I just had this beautiful picture of me being here. The bar is under my armpits. I stay there, and then I finally come off. You need to turn into Gumby, and you need to be able to do this whole body roll of a clearance after that, rather than punching that chest forward. Not knocking how well Rafa did, but this is one common misconception that everybody will get into. So it's very good to at least hear from somebody and shoot. When he figures it out, 15 will be a freaking joke for him. It's literally, he has missed 15-6 and 15-1 and 15 the exact same way. It's always just this little thing. Shoot, he'll hold high enough and all of a sudden he's just going to bomb over it and it's going to be a joke there. But in fixing this, that 15 will be a regular height for him. It's just at the moment he keeps having a little bit excitement, and then you're quick to come off the pole. So then we go, where was it? To Adidas. We actually I had a not a transplant, but she's more like I see her every so often. Let it be the summer camps or whatever. But we had 2 pits going on, and the bigger girls who had the top 20% of national elite, they'd already finished. I had 2 girls in 6th place, and then 1 in like 2nd place, I think Brunel was. So unfortunately, and fortunately, the girl from New York, Ashlyn, she had a wonderful day. She was sending them. And all of a sudden she started chipping away. And now all of a sudden she's tied, 3rd attempt, 11-6. And she's tied with 2 of my girls. And I'm like, heck yeah. I'm a whole bunch of girls on the podium, whatnot. And then all of a sudden, 11-11, she clears. Or actually, she needed to go up at the same progression as the other girl. So it was 12 exactly. She clears that. Oh, baby. She just stole the whole competition from the lower pit. That's a whole nother other thing. You, though maybe have had a crap season, you still have the potential to do all this stuff. You've done it before. You're on the same poles and whatnot. You need to have some belief in your dang self that you can do all this stuff. You never know when you're going to be the person to pop out at nationals. You got to just let things ride, baby. That's the thing, not letting everything overwhelm you, staying in a calm place, whatever. But there is obviously the 3 months of jumping, and we're torn up, and all of a sudden at nationals, you're calling upon yourself to do your best. It sometimes is a little difficult. Completely understand that. But you're meant to be there. You deserve to be there. You earned your spot. Let it rip. So she goes on to win the whole thing with a 12.3 jump. Hadn't jumped 11.6 since outdoor last year. Jumped 11.2 only in the season. So I had a 9-inch PR after a crappy indoor season. Gotta love it. That was awesome to watch. And then had a middle schooler who just needed a little bit of help. And all of a sudden, she gets a little PR. It was really about this whole like orientation of the plant thing, which I'm still trying to figure out. There's a little something there that some people exploit, and I am trying to figure out what it is about that. And what I mean is this drive upwards and turning the shoulders a little bit, allowing for that right arm to stretch back a little bit more, and then driving through with a significant amount more row, as well as this fully extended arm or close to, but getting as much extension out of that top hand or bottom hand as possible, and then getting all this in. But she is a very strict plant, and so she drives through to the side, getting herself sideways, very sideways, and then she swings up, slight bit crooked. And when I say that, I'm totally lying. It was so crooked, and she was flying to the right. Main thing I told her, just keep the shoulders square as you get that hit, and then just rip it up and get some crossbody connection, let it fly. She jumps 8.6. I looked to her dad, and I'm like, you get to go home with a happy daughter. Gotcha, brother. Boom, boom. Yeah, whatever. So she almost got 9 feet. We actually had to push grip. And first jump, she was not so confident. And then all of a sudden, like, almost got it. Oh, dude, that was sweet. That was sweet to watch. Gotta love it when you have a person just kind of figure out something a little bit more, and or just allow themselves to send it when it comes to a new PR, something they've never seen before, and they just go for it. You gotta love it when they do that. So big takeaway, at least from the girls' side of it, I had one who was just standing there the whole time. Yeah, that's not a good way to be at a national competition, especially when you got 60, 40 girls or so in your pit, and things are going to take a while in order for you to come up again. Some people think they're just going to get themselves tired, but I've had Gabby set a timer on her watch or a timer on her phone that every 5 minutes it would ring, and then she'd get a run out. Okay? And so the nerves kind of got to this person. She was just stuck there. She goes, oh, I did that every gymnastics competition. Oh, I did that every... All right, buddy. So I got you, and this got you to this spot. We're going to be better than, right? Keep yourself warm and all that. But she kind of had the same thing. First jumps come up, and same thing as Brunel there. It was just slowed down, and then it was just not the execution that you wanted. And then it had to become like, you need to freaking run this thing, bro, because you are slow, you are soft, you're letting the nerves get to you. You got to let it fly like you do. And then she did, and almost got a new pole jump going, like 12-footers, finally getting to those. And she had a good day. Unfortunately, not a PR day, but you got to look at it in the best way possible, at least with all these meets. Learning pieces, too, though, let it be this whole, I'm stuck. It, like, you're wrecking your own self there just by being. That's all. Put the pole down. Find yourself some space. You might need to create some space, and then get a run out. Keep your legs warm, especially in these big competitions. That is something to take away, as well as you deserve to be there. This is not a new world for you. Same old things. You may have different competition right now, but you jumped a height that set you in that group. Therefore, you deserve to be there. So, act like it. but also learn from those around you if you're new to this world, and take note. Those ones who are doing well, they're up and about, keeping their legs warm, whatever it might be. They're not stagnant and just sitting down waiting for anything to happen. That's kind of a poor way to go about it, you know? So, nonetheless, then Rafa came in and did his whole thing. After a round robin of volleyball, too, oh, my knee's a little stiff and everything. And I was like, well, if you're able to jump, we're going to jump, right? When it becomes something dangerous, and we're done. You're just too tired from those. Homeboy almost got his 15-foot jump, but I bet you know exactly how he missed it. That little chest pop right there at the end. Bam! Just letting that go on. So, big thing with that, drive downwards, and let everything hunch out. And so you're able to then have that roll of the body, rather than what I'm starting to see he does. He gets to the top, and then he pushes away to make sure the pole goes that way. Cool, gotcha. But in that push away, he begins to push his chest out. So, different ways to go about the same exact thing and all that. But that was national meets. He got into All-American for the championship group. Had a pretty good day there. But obviously, a new PR would have been better. But we're starting to, again, just learning things that you do that are that are counterintuitive to the good jumps and all. So, beyond all that, I would say it was a pretty successful national meet. Some of those national meets, they become the mental battle with the better people that I have, and learning how to deal with, or even what they do and not do when it comes to whatever it might be in the meet. So, what I wanted to get at, though, today was this whole plant thing that I'm trying to figure out. Because you see Victor and Isaiah, they're not perfectly straight up off that plant. And when I get into teaching this plant, it's about being straight up, but I didn't even really notice too much that even me too, I allow this shoulder to rotate out as I drive in. So I get my drive and even allow that right arm to turn out, and it allows more movement backwards of my left shoulder, funny enough, or my right shoulder, my top hand. And so, here's the thing about being a coach. You need to be able to assess different ways people do things and see whether it's BS or not. And this one piece, starting to believe it's not the craziest thing in the world, especially as Vault Works, Extreme Heights, the Flying Dragons over there in Kentucky, wherever Isaiah's from, or is it Illinois? I think it's Illinois. Nonetheless, you need to be able to take in information, be humble enough to say, maybe I am not 100% correct in something, or I am maybe getting the basis of it, and there's more energy in the system that I can exploit. So one thing that I've been getting with people is even just a little lean into, because look where my head is. My head's in between my hands. You'll notice some people get very stiff with this, and then they don't allow that right arm to go back, and then you're totally eliminating the row in all this. So at least in my teachings, it's been straight up, and you allow that right arm to go back, and I'm pushing into that left, but it's all straight up. It wasn't really having a huge stretch through that bottom hand, because really my left arm's back here. So my whole left side's also getting a big old stretch, and even allowing for a little bit of rotation here at the top to get this right hand to go farther back. I'm starting to at least dissect it. York College, even, we got to talking about it, their coach over there. And at some point, and this is me trying to be as humble as I can be, maybe I have something to learn in this. And even you or your coach or whatnot, you show them this, and they're not always 100% right, and that's okay. And that's the thing. I don't want to just be only coaching this and that kid to whatever, be 13 or 15 feet. I want to be able to work past that. And it seems like this one little thing is one of the commonalities between some of the better jumpers. They're exploiting one place to where they can get a whole lot of energy put into this pole without letting it be the wide grip shot forward. They're driving upwards into this thing with their super wide grips, but it's upwards, it's not out, and then they're allowing that right hand to go back as they drive into it. And this too has been another way to kind of look at this, is to where I drive up under this pole, and you'll even see if I want to get a nice wide grip yet upwards, my right hand becomes this thing that's turned, or my right shoulder becomes this thing that's a little turned out in order to get back here. But I'm able to get there. It just takes, it's not this stiff straight up, but it's allowing that bicep damn near to go into your eye socket. So a few of the guys at Vaultworks, or not even Vaultworks, at Philly Jumps Club, they're talking about like sniffing the armpit, letting that bicep go right into your eye. You're sniffing that armpit down there. So it just depends on how you're looking at things. And really, are you exploiting every piece of energy that can be put into this system? I like to look at this all as an energy thing, and let it be that you slow down at the plant, you're losing energy, or you are pulling, or be a negative energy. I'm pulling backwards. I don't really say pull at all in this. I like to emphasize the pushing ideas, and that this is never really going to have a pull, which is a negative energy mindset, up until one point. So one thing that I've been getting into with, especially my very strong people, an actionable idea of the top end, rather than it being this thing that is very strict and pushed out the whole time. Imagine I'm upside down and I'm wanting to extend straight with this pole. So for my people who, especially those who just push straight past themselves, I'll get to another movement there. It's another actionable thing. But if you're able to get this pole to turn out to the side, if I want to straighten up with this thing, I have to have the collapse of the left arm in order for me to elongate straight with the pole. If I pull upon my top arm, I go sideways. If I maintain the pressure out on my left arm and that pole straightens out, I go sideways. And my legs, if I were to have them out, I'm going to be sideways to this. So this is, I don't like the idea of pulling. This is the only time for those who are unable to get it to collapse that I may say a pulling idea as we go through this. So when we get upside down, pushing away with that top hand, and both hands really, but then I need to have either a pull in or a collapse and allowing the bow to shoot. So if I pull bow back, at some point I need to let go in order for the bow to straighten out and that string to then shoot straight as well and then shoot the arrow off, right? If I am constantly holding pressure out, you'll see there are some people that may be able to work this thing out far away from their body and still be going straight up in some sense. But one, you don't have the energy going directly through you. It's a little out to the side. And so even if I want to try and push somebody, I want to be directly in front of them. If I want to hit the pole, I want to be directly in front of it. I don't want to be to the side of it because then my energy isn't necessarily going directly into it. And if I get that pole well out to the side, it is maybe flinging me that way. It is the energy of that shot is all the way out over here, and my body is all the way over here. Having the tightness with the pole, that'll allow for the energy to be transferred straight through you rather than dissipating anywhere else into the world. Also, like my dad used to say, "Oh, big man, why don't you hold those groceries out to the side?" Things too close to your body are very easy to deal with. But right when you open them up to the side, this is when things are going to get very difficult. If I'm getting far away from my body over there, it becomes a very hard thing to balance. But if it is close to my body, not as difficult in that sense. There are three things that kind of deal with when doing this. So first one is this skateboard drill. And so I'm going to actually back you up so you can see me a little better. Come along for the trip. Come along, my people, my ship. Oh no, Gabby's coming in. So, I'll get these in before she does, or she'll even be a demonstrator when it comes to another. So, with this, like I said, an actionable idea sometimes is how I get people to collapse that arm. Let it be this idea of a pull in of that left arm into my face, where I help facilitate the unbending of the pole, or is going to be just allowing that collapse to happen. Either or looks damn near the same, but at some point we need to allow that pole to straighten out. How do we do so? Push away with that right arm and pull with the left. Right, Gabby? Nothing. So, nothing. I'm doing. Yeah, you're Gucci. But then, when it comes to one that actually helped Gabby a good bit, at least with this idea, is then coming over here to this double wide that I have attached to a cable. So with the benches needing a little bit wider, everything's set up because people falling off them. But I need to at least have this turning out situation of that bottom hand. And so I'll even have myself hold this for the people, and then we're getting a little pull in just to get this idea of the actions of the wrist and the elbow here on the bottom hand. But with this, we can get a little bit better representation of the extension up that pole rather than driving this thing past your hip. Like I said before, there's some of those people who will muscle on through it. But, and for a third example, break. But, there we go. Here and here. So with this, I can't necessarily push it past my hip as well. I like it a lot for that specifically, and the action then, let me move my bottom hand a little bit more. Actions of the bottom hand in order to stay up with it. Sure, I can hang here on it, but we can enforce that use of the left arm. Let me turn around here.